Hey everyone, welcome to this short Hatha style practice. Our focus, considering the card that we pulled today about nourishing our environment, both inner and outer, I thought I'd go with that theme of inner nourishment of our inner environment, because I do believe that's where that's where everything starts from, right? Where are we and how are we doing in this moment? And then that's what's going to emanate out into every thing we do and every relationship that we have, for sure. So we'll start today in the seated cross-legged position. But if you feel like you'd like to lie down in your shavasana to start, again, this is a inner nourishment focused practice. So you do what feels best and most nourishing for you today. So we're going to let the hands, if you're in the seated position, just rest underneath your thighs, or if you're in the shavasana, just come out at your sides, palms facing up. And taking a moment, just rolling the shoulders up and open, just coming into our poised seated position. You want to make sure you're in a position that you will be comfortable in for the next few minutes. And then just slightly tucking your chin and either softening your gaze when you're ready or closing your eyes all the way. And then we're just going to gently draw our attention, our focus onto our breath. So we're not needing to manipulate our breath in any way. We're just noticing what it's doing in this moment without any judgment. So very powerful, this power of observation that we have. And it's always fascinating to me when when I bring my attention to my breath in this way, without even trying, I start to naturally notice my breath, the quality begin to deepen. My inhales and my exhales begin to lengthen. And I just have this more rich quality of breath that naturally will start to arise without me even trying. So you're just noticing that process happening for you now. Noticing, now bring your focus to where you're seated on the mat, on the floor, or where you're lying on the floor. And you're just noticing any points of contact that your body is making on the mat, on the earth. So taking a moment just to feel the support of the ground beneath you. And then slowly bringing your attention, perhaps starting down at your feet and your legs. And then slowly beginning to scan your body, taking your time. And just noticing what's there. So are you feeling any sensation? Or maybe not, just noticing that. Moving up your legs, up to your hips. And just acknowledging and observing what's there without any judgment. Just giving it some space to be. Up to your belly, your chest. Any movement, any sensation, just noticing. If you're noticing any tension, maybe in the shoulders, in your arms and hands, feel free to take that nice deep breath and just soften, consciously soften those areas. So feeling the weight of your arms and your hands now resting downward, letting them go. Now noticing in your neck and your jaw, any tightness, softening consciously, relaxing your tongue as well on the roof of your mouth. softening all the muscles of your face, all the muscles around your eyes. Now feeling your whole body in space at once. Now bringing your attention back to your breath again. And we're going to move through a little breathing exercise of just counting our inhale length and exhale length. So when you're ready, on your next inhale, we're inhaling to a count of 4. So inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, count of 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pause for a moment and then inhaling again, count of 4. Pause, exhale, count of 6. Inhale, count of 4. Pause, exhale, count of 6. So continue with this breathing exercise. If you find the 4 or 6 count a bit much, you can shorten that to maybe 3 and 5. So follow your, again, you don't want to be straining. Follow what your breath wants to do here. So inhaling, count of 4. Exhaling, count of 6. Let's go 3 more full rounds like that. And once you're done your final exhale, just come back into your natural breath. And just saying quietly to yourself, I am here to nourish my inner self. Setting our intention for our practice right now. We are here to nourish our inner selves. Set that intention for yourself now. Once you've done that, feel free to slowly open your eyes. Just bring yourself back into the space. Just noticing how you feel in this moment. It's already just taking those few minutes just to slowly, consciously bring the breath down and get in tune with our body, how we're feeling. Just notice how already you feel. It's amazing. All right, so we're going to take our legs just out in front of us, just nice and long, coming into staff pose just for a moment. We've had those folded legs. Now, if you're in the Shavasana, of course, bring yourself just to one side and you can slowly bring yourself up to seated and join us in staff. So if your hamstrings are really tight here, feel free to keep a little bend in the knees, okay? I'm keeping the legs strong. That feels accessible to me today. And I'm going to flex my feet. So I'm bringing my toes towards me and I'm keeping the chest open and then just arms out at my sides. And when I'm ready, on an inhale, getting nice and tall, and then exhale, hinging at the hips. So I'm keeping the length in my spine, and that might mean, like me today, maybe not coming into the deepest of folds, but that's okay. We're just starting out. We're going to access that deep quality of breath. When I inhale, I'm sending the breath all the way into my belly. And I feel the expansion in my belly on the inhale. And then exhale, softening the belly. And then just sticking with this for a couple more breaths. I'm already noticing I'm able to, the hamstrings are softening. I'm able to come a little deeper with every exhale. It's really amazing because we love to force, certain things, but it just coming into that place of ease. And things tend to just work out all on their own. All right. And when you're ready, on an inhale, you can slowly use your hands just to bring yourself all the way back up into your seated position. And then we're going to bring the soles of the feet together, coming into our butterfly or cobbler's pose, just bringing the heels towards the torso. Okay. Just again, you want to be able to keep length in the spine. So if that means your feet are a little further out, that's fine. If you have really tight hips, it might not look like mine's looking. The knees might be a little higher, your feet a little further out. That's totally fine, right? It's till you're listening to your body, till you're feeling a stretch, okay? And then in our cobblers, sitting nice and tall, hands can be around the feet. And then when you're ready, on an exhale, if it feels accessible, feel free to come into a fold, okay? And again, this is going to be different for everyone. Some people might already be feeling a lot of stretch right here, and then you stay right there. Finding your breath. Staying in your body, feeling the stretch in your body. One more breath. Nice. And then on an inhale, we're going to bring ourselves all the way back up. And then we're just bring our legs out in front for a minute, give them a little shake. And then we're going to come into our cross-leg position again. So ideally, it would be the opposite way you were to start. If you don't remember, it's probably the way that feels a little bit awkward. So for me, it's going this way feels a little awkward. So I'll do that this time. Just gives a little bit of a different stretch, if you can do both ways, it keeps things nice and balanced. And then we're going to go into some side stretches. So we're just going to take the left hand, fingertips down to the mat. Right hand's going to be out to the side, palm facing up. And on an inhale, bringing that right arm up nice and tall. And then exhale, we're coming into that side bend towards the left. And we're going to pause here for a few breaths. So nice deep breath. Opening up the ribs every inhale, coming a little deeper on the exhale. One more. Inhale, let's fill all the way up. We're going to bring those right fingertips down to the mat. Left hand flips, so palm is up. Inhale, left arm all the way up. Keep the shoulder down, the shoulder socket. And then exhale, side bend towards the right. So keeping our chest open. Deep breath. So really feeling on the inhale, that expansion between the ribs. Feeling that nourishing oxygen getting into our bloodstream, traveling around to every single cell in our body. Allowing ourselves to create that energy that we need. One more breath. And then inhale, let's sweep all the way back up and fingertips down. Nice. We're going to do a few shoulder shrugs here. So I like to do this with the hands on the thighs. So on an inhale, I use my hands to kind of help push too. Shoulders come right up to the ears. And then exhale, let them drop. Feels amazing. So inhale all the way up. Exhale, drop. Let's do 3 more just like that. If you're like me, we carry so much tension in the shoulders and the neck area. Don't even realize it till I do something like this. Feels great. Okay. I'm just going to do some yeses and nos. So Just stay with your deep quality of breath when you're ready. So chin to chest. On an inhale, exhale, just till it feels good for you. Okay, we're bringing the head back. So you're just flowing with your breath, nice, smooth, slow motion. Exhale back, take your time. Let's do a few more yeses. All right, last time bringing it back. And then come back to your neutral. And now we're going to do some nose. So I'm bringing my gaze towards the left as far as it'll go. On my inhale, exhale to the right. Inhale left. Exhale right. Nice. And then we'll come back to center. Okay. Awesome. That already feels so great. Okay. We're going to come into our tabletop. So hands just come out in front. We'll take a moment once we're in our tabletop, just making sure you've got the knees below the hips. Toes can either be tucked or untucked. Hands are below the shoulders. Fingers are spread nice and wide, and really press into those fingertips. Okay. When you're ready, on an inhale, we're going to move through our cat and cow flow. So inhale, belly comes down. Chin and pelvis tilt up. Exhale, we're curving up the spine, tucking the chin and pelvis. So flow with your breath. Really staying present in your body. Noticing, where are you feeling the stretch? Where are you feeling this in your space? Just get curious about that. Let's go 3 more full cycles. Take your time. All right. And then after your last exhale, let's inhale back to that neutral tabletop. And if the toes are not tucked, we're going to tuck them. And on an inhale, slowly lifting our hips up into our first downward facing dog. So take your time here. Maybe paddle out the feet. I'm feeling my calves are really tight today. So I'm going to take it nice and slow here. I'm going to bring one heel towards the mat, bend the opposite knee. I'm going to transition to the other side. And then when I'm ready, I'm going to come to that stationary, static position with my down dog and just focus on my alignment. So my fingertips are spread into the mat. My back is long. My head is just hanging. I can do more of my yeses in my nose. My hips are high. And if, again, the hamstrings are really tight, keep a little bend in the knees if that feels supportive. Deep breath. All right, inhale, come up on the balls of the feet. Let's walk our feet forward, coming into a standing forward fold. And let your back and your head and your arms just hang here. Stay with that deep quality of breath. Again, if you need that gentle bend in the knees, feel free. Whatever you need, this is a supportive practice for you. All right, and when you're ready on an inhale, let's come into our halfway lift, long spine. Hands can either be on shins or thighs. Exhale, fold. And then inhale, we're going to sweep the arms all the way overhead, coming into our upward salute. And then exhale, hands down through the heart center. Pause here for one full breath. Nice. Inhale, sweeping the arms all the way overhead. Exhale, we're going to swan dive. So we bring the arms apart and the chest leads down to our fold, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Long spine. Exhale, fold. Hands down to the mat. And we're going to step our right foot all the way back. Coming into a low lunge. We're going to bring that right knee all the way down. Okay. When you're ready, either bringing the hand to the front thigh or arms come all the way up into your full low lunge. Finding your breath. Just a gentle back bend here. You can bring the arms into cactus arms too if you like. Let's go one more full breath. And then exhale, bringing the hands all the way down to the mat. And we're going to step the left foot all the way back. So we're coming into our tabletop again. And then this time bringing the hips back onto the heels. And we're going to do a heart melt pose here. It's almost like an activated child. So the arms come out in front. For me, it feels nice to have them a little wider than the shoulders. And then I take a deep breath in so the arms are still activated. Okay. And then exhale, I lead with my chest down to the mat. And my gaze is either forward or down to the mat, whatever feels best. Another option here, if you want to go a little deeper, you can come up on the fingertips, 10th the fingertips. So a pretty deep shoulder stretch here. Nice. And then when you're ready, we're going to soften all the way back down into child. So just letting the arms come down. And either you're turning to one cheek or the forehead is down on the mat. Whatever feels best for you. And then finding your breath. And taking these few moments here to, again, bring the attention inward. And feel what is there. And allow yourself this time and these breaths to nurture. All right, one more breath. When you're ready, you can guide yourself all the way back up into our tabletop. Tucking the toes, we're going to lift hips all the way up into our downward facing dog again. Finding your breath. Nice. And on an inhale, coming up on the balls of the feet, we're going to walk our feet to the head of the mat again, coming into our forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And then when you're ready, we're going to sweep the arms all the way up, upward salute. Exhale, hands down through the heart center. Finding your breath. And so taking a moment right here in our mountain pose, feeling our feet connected to the mat, feeling our legs strong and supportive. Our core is strong and steadying us. Feeling that groundedness, steadiness of the ground beneath us, of the earth beneath us. All right, we're going to move through just a few rounds of half sun salutation. So inhale, sweeping the arms all the way overhead. Gaze can come up. Exhale, we're going to swan dive back down to our fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Then inhale, let's sweep all the way overhead. And then hands down through the heart center. One full breath. Nice. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way overhead. Exhale, swan dive. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep all the way overhead. And then hands down the midline to the heart center. One full breath. Last one. Inhale all the way overhead. Swan dive all the way down. Chest leads. Inhale, halfway lift.
Exhale, fold. Nice. Hands down to the mat. This time, stepping our left foot all the way back and bringing down that left knee, coming into our low lunge on the other side. Just making sure that front knee is stacked over the front ankle. When you're ready, back toes can either be tucked or untucked. Bringing the hand either to the thigh, front thigh, or all the way up into your full low lunge. Finding your breath. I don't know if you can see Bergie on the couch there, but she is really feeling the nourishing and nurturing vibes today. She knows how to rest. Very good reminder for me. All right, exhale. Let's bring the hands all the way back down, framing the front foot. And now we're going to step that front foot all the way back. So we're coming into our tabletop again. So toes can either be tucked or untucked initially. Let's actually bring the big toes together, knees a little wider than hip distance. And then hips come back towards heels. We're keeping the arms active. We're coming into our heart melt pose again here. So get nice and comfortable. So for me, I'm just going to bring my hands a little wider than the shoulders. I take a deep breath in with my gaze forward, and then exhale. I bring my chest towards the mat. I like bringing the gaze towards the hands. If that doesn't feel good on the neck, just bring your forehead down to the mat. Option again to tent the fingertips. Finding your breath. Let's go 2 more full breaths. Nice. And then inhale, we're going to bring our chest up and just relax the arms down. And now we're going to come into our child's pose. So just letting everything relax down on the mat. Gaze can be either right down at the mat, forehead on the mat, or your head can be turned to one side and resting on a cheek. Just letting the arms rest down on the mat. Finding your breath. Let everything in this moment just relax. No tension. Right. When you're ready, you can slowly use your hands just to bring yourself all the way back up into your seated position. And we're just going to do a seated spinal twist. For me, releasing tension in the upper body, this is one of my favorite things to do. So a couple of options for the legs. You can either bring that left leg long and then the right foot against the inner left thigh or the outer left thigh. Okay. Or there's the option. I think I'm going to do this one today because it just gives me a nice little more of an outer hip stretch. And I feel like I need that. Is I'm going to tuck that left heel towards the right hip. Okay. So just make sure if you're going to do this option that both of the sit bones are still connected to the mat, that you're not lifting up. Okay. If that's happening, just bring that left leg long. Okay. So all kinds of options here. Once you've got yourself, seated comfortably, you're going to take the left arm up to you, either hugging the front knee towards you, or I think what I'm going to do today is bringing the left elbow to the outside of that top knee. Okay. And then I'm going to bring that right arm all the way back behind me as I bring my gaze over the right shoulder. And then finding your breath. Now, if this is a little bit too deep on the outside of that, you can just hook that elbow around the knee, right? That's another great option. Again, no pain, no strain, right? Just nice stretch and release. Deep breath. Allowing yourself this moment of stillness here with your breath to wring out and release any energies that you no longer wish to keep. One more breath. And then on the exhale, let's release all the way around to the front. And now we'll transition to the other side. So I'm just going to take my right leg, either bringing that right leg long, right? And then the left foot on the inner left of the right thigh or on the outside, okay? Or bringing a bend to that bottom knee, my right knee, bringing the right heel towards the left hip. So I think I'm going to go this route today, but you do you for sure, okay? All right, and then when you're ready, we're going to take that right arm. Oh, Bergie wants to go out. We're either going to bring it around the front knee or the outside of the front knee. And then left arm back and behind. Bergie wants to make an appearance. She's sending me a very clear message. All right, out we go. So keep with that twist on the left side. Here we go. I don't want to miss out on this one. So there we go. Oh, nice. One of my favorite poses is seated spinal twist. The twists, I find they just get into all those nooks and crannies in the shoulders and in, just in the neck. Everything just feels amazing. One of the most nurturing poses I can do for myself, for sure. Let's go for one more full breath. And then exhale. We're just going to release round to the front. Awesome. And now I think we're ready to start coming down onto our back. To start on it, once we take your time, get yourself nice and comfy on your back, we're going to bring what we come into supine bound angle. So our soles of our feet together, and you're basically creating like a diamond shape with your legs. And then you just come down on your back. So you can either have the hands out to your sides, like if you're in Shavasana, palms facing up, or one hand to the heart, one hand to the belly. And see if you can just settle into some ease here. Now, if you know that you will not be able to hold this for a couple of minutes, feel free just to lengthen the legs, right? That's another option at any time. So whatever version you're in, closing your eyes and just coming to your breath. So just feeling the flow of air moving in, feeling your belly expand on the inhalation, all the way up into your chest, and then softening of your chest and belly on the exhalation. Maybe saying to yourself, as I breathe, I nourish myself. As I breathe, I nourish myself. A few more breaths just like this. And if you're in the supine bound angle pose, feel free now to just lengthen your legs long down the mat, coming into your final Shavasana pose. You can bring your arms out at your sides if you like, palms facing up. And taking a deep breath in your nose and out your mouth. And just letting any tension in your body just completely go. Let everything relax and soften into the mat. Giving yourself these last few moments just to rest. And when you're ready, feel free to just begin deepening your breath. And bringing a little gentle movement back into your body. And take your time, maybe give yourself a stretch all the way overhead. And when you're ready, you can slowly guide yourself on to one side and pause for a few more breaths. And when you're ready, you can slowly guide yourself all the way back up into your seated cross-legged position. Take your time. Meeting back in that seated, easy pose. Once you arrive in the seated pose, closing your eyes for a few minutes. Let your hands just rest on your knees or thighs. And taking these last few moments, take a deep cleansing breath. Deep breath in and out. And just taking these last moments to tune into your inner environment. How are you feeling? How are you doing right now? And realizing there's no right way to be or wrong way to be. You're just taking this time to notice what's there. Just being honest and noticing any sensations, any feelings, without going into an analysis of them. You're just observing what's there. And perhaps saying quietly to yourself, I come home to myself. I come home to myself. I come home to myself. Bringing one hand on top of the other on the heart center. And just feeling right now what's there. All right, and now bringing the palms of the hands together, thumbs pressed into the heart center. Taking this final moment for some gratitude for this time and this space for our practice today. Namaste. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. I hope you felt that I felt that nourishment and nurturing that you were giving yourself. And I hope you realize and will remember, I'm going to remember the importance of that. Absolutely. So thank you so much for providing yourself with that. I hope this really helps you move into the rest of your day in the best way possible for you and for those around you, of course, and into the rest of your week. All right, take care, everyone. Until next time, bye.